Week 13 in the Atlantic Coast Conference starts in Chapel Hill with the Old Well and the Bell Tower providing the backdrop for Senior Day as Mack Brown and number 17 North Carolina celebrate 16 seniors in a regular season ball game against Western Carolina. We welcome you to ACC football presented by Geico. Western Carolina 0-2 in this shortened fall campaign for Mark Spear is at Kenan Stadium for a third time to meet number 17 North Carolina. Tar Heels falling to Notre Dame a week ago Friday. Great to be with Roddy Jones on this ACC Saturday and Larisha Harris. Wes Durham, we welcome you to the coverage of the Tar Heels and the Catamounts. And when you talk about Carolina, Roddy, a lot of it starts with Sam Howell, but these two guys that run the rock, pretty good too.
They're great, Wes. It's rare that you have two running backs on the same team that both could lay claim to being the best back in the ACC. The argument is certainly there. You see the rush numbers. What that doesn't include is what they do in the receiving game as well. Both of them with over 200 yards receiving. And look, they're one of the best tandems in the entire country, and they do it in different ways. Let's start with the explosive, the slippery Michael Carter, one of the best guys in the country at making people miss. Here you see him in the hole, short area quickness, able to make a linebacker miss and then get up the field for about 10 more yards after that first contact. When he gets in the open field, he is electric. Javonte Williams just as good at yards after contact, but does it in a different way. Over 200 pounds, so you get the power. Arm tackle, not going to get him down. He goes to the next level, little stiff arm to the face, another arm tackle, no siree. I'm going to get some more yardage. That's what makes these two guys great. And as well as in the pass game, they do it in the blocking game too. Here is an unselfish play by Javonte Williams. They need to salt the game away against Wake Forest. He's leading up on a linebacker. What does he do? Physicality. Up on Jaquez Williams, let's give a moment of silence there. Opens the hole for his buddy Michael Carter. That puts the game away against Wake. These guys are unselfish, they're extremely talented, and they are the best tandem in the league and maybe in the country.
Well, Carter and Williams run the rock for Carolina, and for the Catamounts, Larisha, they've got a guy they're going to lean on today too.
That's right, Wes. Donovan Spencer is the running back who carries the load for West Carolina. And when I talked to him about it, he said he takes pride in it, wears it like a badge of honor because he is a team leader. He told me he's a quick back, shifty runner with great hands who can catch out of the backfield. And offensive coordinator John Holt seconded that notion by saying Donovan is our offense. He's a complete player because he brings experience.
A year ago, 530 yards, 4 touchdowns in this shortened campaign here in the fall before the Southern Conference schedule begins in late February. You're talking about a Catamount team that is leaning on Spencer. He's got 135 yards on 25 carries in their 2 ball games, a loss at Liberty and a loss at Eastern Kentucky a couple of weeks ago. Daquan Patton, Reggie Jones deep. And we go from Chapel Hill, and there will be no return, so the Catamounts of Mark Spear will take over at their 25-yard line. And that means that the quarterback of Western Carolina is redshirt junior Will Jones. He's a North Carolinian from Greensboro, played at Page High School for Kevin Gillespie, and took the team to a state title ball game. And you see through 4 starts, 10 total touchdowns and 1,000 yards in his Western Carolina career. They've been using 2 quarterbacks, Roddy, but the other quarterback in the mix, Mark Wright, did not make the trip. So this will be Will Jones's ball game today for Western Carolina. And the first down give, and this is Mekhi Stanley picking up almost 5 yards on the play.
Stanley, number 22 on the carry. Ball spot at the 30-yard.
So the Catamounts will have it 2nd and 5.
Wes, so many of these
49-17,
guys.
the loss a couple of weeks ago, Roddy, at Eastern Kentucky for Western Carolina, who actually also played at Liberty the week prior too.
Yeah, so many of these guys have been looking forward to this game because of the fact that they come from North Carolina. A lot of them grew up Tar Heels fans, so it's cool for them to get this opportunity.
This is Spencer's first carry. And Donovan Spencer picks up almost 7 on second down to give Western Carolina a first down chance. And there is the 9th-year head coach of the Catamounts, Mark Spear, a native of Kannapolis, North Carolina, and a graduate of Clemson, where he worked as a student assistant. He has had a lot of experience in the state of North Carolina and in South Carolina in his football journey prior to becoming the head coach in late December of 2011 in Cullowhee. 1st and 10 for Western Carolina. And Jones gets rolled around by Tamon Fox after a pickup of a yard or so.
You mentioned the fact that Mark Wright is out, Wes. The junior college transfer is a little bit better runner than Will Jones, but they will still do a lot of this quarterback run with Will Jones in the game. And early on, you can see Western Carolina not afraid to go right at this North Carolina defense.
It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Catamounts. North Carolina defensively allowing 157 yards a ball game. Here is a 2nd and 9 for the Catamounts. And this will be Jones again, keeping it on the read play. And there's Chaz Surratt, the Tar Heels leading tackler, coming into the ball game and a semifinalist for the Butkus Award, Roddy.
He's one of the best linebackers in the entire country. He's done such a great job of being a leader on this team through the coaching transition, the former quarterback deciding to go to linebacker. And in talking to Jay Bateman, there's still a lot of room for him to grow, but his progression over the course of his career as a linebacker has been really impressive.
So 3rd and 4 for Western Carolina. They were 3 of 15 2 weeks ago at Eastern Kentucky on 3rd down. Tar Heels held Notre Dame to 4 of 11 8 days ago here at Keenan. Jones wants to throw and will sail it out of bounds. And that will bring the punting unit on for Coach Spear's team. Pressure from Tamon Fox.
Looked like Will Jones wanted to go to the bottom of the screen and had to get the ball out quick because Tamon Fox was unblocked and wasn't able to do it and had to throw the ball away after getting a first down, which is some positives to build on for Western Carolina. They end up getting stopped and have to punt.
5 plays and now the punt. And we get our first opportunity there. The ball got driven away by Brandon Dickerson. And the Tar Heels handling the punt. Back here to the near side, Daz Newsom. And that'll get us to a timeout. Almost 3 minutes gone in Chapel Hill. No score. Sam Howell and the Heels are next.
On ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
Five plays and a punt for the Catamounts, and here is the sophomore from Indian Trail, North Carolina, Sam Howell. Roddy.
He's been one of the best players in the entire country. He's coming off not his best game, so he's looking to rebound today.
Michael Carter turns the corner and knocked out of bounds after a 10-yard run to the 39. Tally, the safety there on the stop, playing for the Jacob Harris, the normal safety spot in that secondary.
Yeah, we had a great time talking with Sam Howell just about how he's approaching this game like any other, but the things that he wants to improve on in the offseason as well.
Carter off the throw and pushed out of bounds after a gain of 7 on the play by Tally again.
You know, Wes, in talking to Sam, I thought it was really interesting that he told us his comfort in the pocket is the big thing that he's going to look for in the offseason to try and get better at, and as this season ends as well.
Yep, and here's the first touch of the day for Javonte Williams, and across midfield, the 44 of the Catamounts go the Tar Heels on the 10-yard play. Another tackle for Tally, and Carolina moving it through the gearbox here on their opening drive, Roddy.
Yeah, and just giving it to those running backs over and over in the pass game.
And here's Williams again inside the 35, 34-yard line. Another play by Tally. And a marker on the play
Personal foul. Legal block below the waist. Number 68, offense. 15-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
That's Brian Anderson, the center.
Take a look at the right side of your screen. You see Brian Anderson engaged, and while he's engaged, he then goes down, and yeah, you can't do that. That is, it's a pretty easy one for the referees, especially when you get those zone plays and the linemen get separated. Pretty easy to see that.
Yep. Pushes the Tar Heels back to their 46 on their opening drive. Howell, another throw to the perimeter. This time, De'Ami Brown the catch near midfield. Well handled by the Catamounts. The corner, Ronald Kent, who Andy McCollum, their defensive coordinator, is excited about.
He certainly is. Says he's a guy that just overcomes the limitations that he has, only listed at 165 pounds, but does a really nice job of open field tackling against an explosive receiver.
2nd and 16 for Carolina. There's Howell now, looking a little further down the field. Catch is made, and Daz Newsome works his way down toward the 30-yard line, where he got knocked out of bounds. The linebacker, Curtis Roach, there on a 17-yard throw.
And a really nice job of Sam Howell operating in that pocket, not getting frazzled. And the longer the play went, does a nice job of sliding up, goes from one read to another. Daz Newsome just sits down in an open spot in the zone. It's a nice pickup for Carolina.
First down and 10. At about 5 minutes and change, and Carter gets the carry for a couple of yards there. Pickup of almost 4 on first down for Michael Carter. Rod, we talk about these two guys in the open as Milner makes the stop for Western Carolina. The combination is lethal. The individual numbers are still really, really strong. You see Carter's run numbers coming into the ball game. Here's Howell on a play fake again. Dumps it back. This is Walston, the tight end, down to the 17, and a Tar Heel first down on the tackle by A.J. Rogers.
The thing you've seen with Sam Howell early in this game is just his overall comfort in this offense. Knows exactly where the answers are so far in this game. He seems to be really locked in.
Carter on the carry and the touchdown for Carolina. Michael Carter makes it look easy on a 17-yard run, and the Tar Heels on the board.
I think this run is going to be on the offensive line's highlight film. I mean, this is a great job by the offensive line. Just getting a hat on a hat. Michael Carter trots into the end zone. It's about as easy as it gets if you're a running back, right up the middle through a giant hole.
9 plays, 71 yards, just better than 3 minutes for Carter to pick up the touchdown, his 5th of the year, Roddy.
And again, this one's going to be on the offensive line. Everybody finds their man. Michael Carter has the easy job of just easing it on into the end zone.
By bundling home and car insurance.
We welcome you back into Carolina a couple of weeks ago against Wake Forest. 3 weeks ago, in fact, had to come from behind, Roddy. Sam Howell, 7 touchdowns, 550 yards, a new school record. 6 touchdowns, by the way, tied the ACC record for passing scores in a ball game. And the Tar Heels won a shootout, 59-53 over Dave Clawson's club. And kick through the end zone will send Western back to the 25 to start their second possession. Matt Brown's team fell behind, Roddy, and they just started looking at the record book. What could we do? 21-point second half comeback, 742 yards, and the 550 by Howell's one of the top 4 performances in ACC history.
Yeah, they found a weakness in that Wake Forest defense, and they just went to it over and over and over. How much fun was that game, though? Sign me up for games like that every week.
So here is Will Jones. And the Catamounts going to work. First down give is Donovan Spencer. And the ball popped out of there, and it looks like it's recovered by DeQuan Patton. Spencer had it knocked out of there, but Patton, fifth-year senior from Columbia, South Carolina, falls on it.
Very fortunate bounce for Western Carolina. Sometimes that oblong ball falls right into your hands, and that's the case here. It actually gets kicked by a Carolina player right to DeQuan Patton. So Mr. Johnny on the spot, DeQuan Patton saving the day.
I said Spencer, it was Bradley on the carry. Or Makai Stanley, I beg your pardon, on the carry that time. And here comes Jones, a little speed option into the boundary side, and that is Spencer. Taken off in front of the Carolina bench. Strong run by Donovan Spencer. I like the little speed option look here, Roddy, by the Catamounts.
I do as well. Offensive coordinator John Holt's done a nice job mixing in some zone read. You got some speed option there. Kind of keeping this Carolina defense off balance.
First down and 10, right at midfield. Tar Heels on the board already with a Michael Carter touchdown run, and now Catamounts trying to get something going. That's Jones in motion, and Spencer again hit the cutback, and Donovan Spencer finally tackled by Don Chapman out of the Tar Heel secondary. 11-yard run, Larisha.
Well, one of the things that Coach Mark Spear told us that he was looking for from his guys, especially with them being such a young group, is just a certain mentality. What is your attitude like? Precision and purpose. Do you have it? He said that's an area that they have to work on, and also effort. But when it comes to the precision and purpose part, he was focusing rather on details. Do you understand the details?
Yeah. You got to find those guys, because most of these FCS schools have taken the fall off. Western Carolina is one of a handful, and a big play there by the Tar Heels. As you see, crashing in was Desmond Evans, number 10, leading the charge behind the line, Roddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this was a designed give, but if it was not, Will Jones certainly should have pulled it. He was absolutely swallowed by Desmond Evans. Desmond Evans, a freshman, true freshman that they are really excited about. We're going to see a number of those guys here today. Desmond Evans, Kimon Rucker, Clyde Pender, Miles Murphy is a part of, in the front seven, is a part of that freshman class that Mac Brown and Jay Bateman are really excited about.
No doubt. Second and a dozen after the loss there. Jones trying to cut it loose, and the catch is made. Reggie Jones, the redshirt junior from Sharpsburg, Georgia. Just short of the first down.
Like the Transformer face mask there. It may have helped him with that contested catch, because it looked like Patrice Rene was draped all over him. Nice delivery by Will Jones and a nice catch on the other end.
Third and short here for the Catamounts.
Expect them to go with that zone read or maybe a speed option, something that allows them to read one of these end players for North Carolina.
Spencer is the back with Jones in the pistol here. And Jones on the follow, and will get the first down to the 24-yard line of Carolina. Don Chapman again comes up on the safety spot to make the play.
It looks like this may have been some midline action or a quarterback follow. One way or the other, you get that extra blocker up the middle, and Will Jones able to pick up the first down. John Holt going strong with the read game and the quarterback run with Will Jones. Not exactly what we expected coming into this. Thought that would have been more Mark Wright's game, but with Wright out, Will Jones stepping in very well.
So the two-back package now has Spencer and Stanley there. Trying to create a pocket for Jones, and the ball incomplete for Donovan Spencer. So it'll be second down and 10.
They had exactly what they wanted here. Donovan Spencer on Jeremiah Gimmel on a little seam route out of the backfield. The throw just a little too high for the running back. You got to make it easy on those running backs, Wes. Donovan Spencer not able to bring it in. But Western Carolina got exactly what they wanted on that one, and a little bit better throw, and that's a touchdown.
He just wears number 20, so I know you're partial to cats that wear 20.
Always.
Second
automatically
and 10.
My favorite player if you're a number 20 running back.
Exactly right. Second and 10 off the Tar Heel 26. Another throw on the perimeter. Spence made one guy miss. And then finally, Trey Morrison, who's had a nice season out of the Tar Heels secondary, comes up and makes the stop. 3rd down coming.
Chris Collins had a shot on him in the backfield, just not quite. Oh, just a little bit of a block there. A nice job out on the perimeter. I think that was Owen Kasimki.
Right.
Yeah, Owen Kasimki made that block. A nice job. Just a little nudge to spring his running back.
So here's 3rd down and 7. Jones to throw and dropped. Looking for Jacoby Quillian, a freshman from Florence, South Carolina. Had him right there where they needed him, Roddy.
True freshman, and this throw is a little bit high, but you got to come down with that. You're on the big stage in Kenan Stadium against one of the most explosive offenses on the other side. And your offense have put together a good drive. Got to bring that one in, young fella.
Here's Paxton Robertson, whose only field goal was 52 yards a couple of weeks ago at Eastern Kentucky. And now a timeout will be called. You saw Western Carolina hurried a guy on, but I think Mark Spears' kick unit got confused. Well, the Catamounts tried to get that kick cover unit set. And now Paxton Robertson out of the timeout is going to try a 40-yarder. He had the 52-yarder 2 weeks ago at Eastern Kentucky. This to put Catamounts on the board. And Robertson punches it through. 40-yard try. Mark Spear fired up for his team. They get on the board here with 4.5 to go in quarter 1.
Should be fired up for his team. That was an excellent drive from Western Carolina. Converted a couple of 3rd downs there. Were able to get down the field on a Carolina defense that obviously has the physical advantages, but they found some stuff that works. Some zone play, some zone read, and able to run the football. And if it weren't for a drop or a better throw earlier in that drive, they may have gotten 7 out of it.
Yep, so Robertson puts them on the board. Quick reminder to you, we've got 2 more ball games coming up for you. ACC football presented by Dr. Pepper is next from over in Raleigh. Chris Cotter, Mark Herzlich, and our man Eric Wood on the call of Georgia Tech and NC State. And then ACC primetime football presented by Geico tonight from the fabled Horseshoe on the West Campus, Roddy. Number 10, Miami and Duke. We welcome Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselback, and Katie George, who had a birthday this week. Happy birthday, Katie. They'll be with you tonight at 8 o'clock from Wallace Wade Stadium.
It'll be good to hear Dave O'Brien and Tim Hasselback, see them, and see Miami. All 3 of those entities have been missing from our ACC lives for a while.
Yeah. Toe Groves was deep, but Western Carolina trying the short kick, and looked like Garrett Walston came up to challenge it. And then the ball went out of bounds at the 42-yard line. We'll wait on referee Gary Patterson and his crew to sort this out right there in front of Coach Brown at the Tar Heel bench.
Garrett Walston was trying to come up and field that. North Carolina was very fortunate to bounce out of bounds instead of bouncing towards the field.
Ruling on the field that the receiving team touched the ball prior to going out of bounds. It'll be the receiving team's ball at the spot out of bounds. First down.
Watch where this hits, Wes. It's an excellent job of execution, kind of dropping it into that no man's land. And if that falls, if that bounces back towards the field, Western Carolina's got a lot of players around it and would have had a really good shot to recover that.
By the way, there were a lot more white shirts than blue shirts around that ball with Walton. Here's Howell. He's going to try and cut it loose deep, and it is overthrown, looking for De'Ami Brown.
And De'Ami Brown one-on-one in coverage, and he wins this one a lot. One of the fastest players in the ACC. Sam Howell got hit as he was throwing that ball, or else he probably would have made a little bit more accurate throw. He doesn't miss those very often.
Aaron Gathers, who started his college career at Boston College. was in coverage for Western Carolina. Howell's first miss of the day, followed up with his 6th completion, and that's Daz Newsome on the back end of the throw. Newsome came in, Roddy, 9 catches behind De'Ami Brown in the Tar Heel order, 15th in the league in receiving yards, over 500 again for Daz Newsome on the season. Where it was like a 1A, 1B a year ago, has it separated a little bit this fall, you think?
Yeah, it has. And we talked to Phil Longo about it, and he basically said, look, that's a sign of respect for what Daz Newsome has done. Sam Howell picks up the first down and goes for more.
Absolutely. Inside the 25 before Howell is angled out on the play. Ronald Kent, the corner, had to help number 7 to the far sideline.
We had North Carolina the first game of the year, and Sam Howell said, I've worked on my mobility. I've worked on pulling the ball down and running a little better. And how about that? Like, he has shown some ability in the open field to make some people miss. He's been going to the Michael Carter school of saucing guys in the open field.
They called it 30 yards for Howell. Here's a quick throw, middle of the field. The catch is made and into the end zone. Antoine Green for the Carolina touchdown.
When we had our conversations with the Carolina coaches yesterday, Phil Longo said, hey, look, if we can get a guy to make some plays, I want it to be Antoine Green, a guy he recruited heavily when he was at Ole Miss, gets to North Carolina, and there Antoine Green is, and just has gotten stuck behind guys like De'Ami Brown, Emory Simmons, Daz Newsome, but an extremely talented receiver that he wanted to get some plays to, and he does it right there.
4 plays, 58 yards, 65 seconds on the Tar Heel touchdown drive. Carolina, if this stands, will have their 116th play over 15 yards this year, Roddy.
Wow. Off that replay, it's going to be bang, bang. The forearm hits, the knee hits right as that ball is getting close to the end line. So, get another look at this. Take a look at that left forearm and the knee. Forearm's down right there. That's the first thing to hit down. Is the ball across the goal line? I think it's broken the plane at that point. I think this will stand off of that look, but let's see what the referees determine.
I think the first look is probably the one. And
after
again,
further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
There you go. So the play stands. So, Roddy, quick summary, no indisputable video evidence for the reversal.
Absolutely.
And Antoine
I think it's
Green
the right call.
in the end zone. Yep. So here is the point after for Grayson Atkins, who a year ago was kicking against Western Carolina as a member of the Furman Paladins. The point for Atkins is good, and it's an 11-point lead for Carolina, and another mark for Sam Howell on the season. Touchdown pass number 25, but 63 in his career leaves him one shy of Bren Renner, now working on the staff at Florida International, and of course Darian Durant, who starred in the John Bunting era back in early 2000s.
Going on a limb and say Sam Howell's probably going to get that before the season's out. I know it's going out on a limb.
Well, 25 touchdowns for Howell. First in the ACC, 4th nationally. Roddy, you look at just the comparable numbers, completion percentage, passing yardage, efficiency, yards per game, yards per attempt. Through just 2 seasons of football, there's a lot to take in when you talk about number 7.
I think you have found a perfect marriage with a guy in Sam Howell who just absorbs the knowledge and everything that goes into this offense, and an offensive coordinator in Phil Longo that tailors his offense to what the strengths of his players are.
There will be a return here. This is Reggie Jones. Across the 25 and knocked out of bounds near the 30-yard line. Jones had been averaging 19.5 yards on his returns. That's his best of the year. He had a 27-yarder a couple of weeks ago at Liberty. So he'll give Will Jones a good spot to start from. The Western Carolina 31-yard line for the Catamounts, who are 0-2 in this brief fall campaign that features 3 contests, and then in late February they will get to their 8-game Southern Conference schedule, when ironically they play at Furman on February the 20th. Like a lot of FCS conferences, the Southern going with a spring schedule. It covers February, March, and portions of April. Here's Spencer on the first down carry for the Catamounts. And Roddy, you have to respect what tackle made by Jeremiah Gimmel, by the way. You have to respect the concept of these schools in FCS that have gone out and played some of these games here and there. And Mark Spears said, look, it's not for everybody. And they waited, until November to kind of dip their toe in the pool. We saw some Jacksonville State and some others at FCS maybe sample the schedules in September and October before they bowed away to play their regular season in the spring too. Second down and 8 now for the Catamounts. Jones. And overthrows the intended receiver, and that's Daquan Patton. And Patton is the son of one of the great players in Western Carolina history, and for that matter, a Super Bowl champion, David Patton.
Well, that's a name that New England fans will certainly remember and appreciate. But Wes, going back to what you said about Mark Spear, I mean, he told us they've got 52 true or redshirt freshmen, and the practices that they got this fall, because of the fact that they're playing these 3 games, are invaluable and something that he really wanted going into that spring season.
Yep, third down and 8, and the throw off line for Spencer. Again, Catamounts had a guy in spot, Roddy. You just got to clutch the football.
Got to catch it. I mean, this is when you're up against a team that you're clearly overmatched against. You got to make these simple plays. I mean, that's not North Carolina making a play. That's Western Carolina not doing it. So Mark Spear, when he goes back and watches the early film of this game, he's going to say, guys, we just have to do the little things, catching the football, delivering an accurate pass when you've got an open receiver, and we could have really competed early on.
Daz Newsome back to take the punt of Brandon Dickerson here. At the 24, here's Newsome. Looking for an alley, 35-40. Newsome chopped down at the 46-yard line, and nice return by Newsome. Tar Heels near midfield with just better than 2 minutes left to go. 43-yard punt, 24-yard return, Ronnie.
Well, Mark Spear said he wasn't going to kick it to Daz Newsome. He has done it twice, and that's borderline abuse, Wes. You get mushed in the face like that. That's a stiff arm that you put on the highlight film. That's one that you are certainly going to remember. Daz Newsome coming with the power, the stiff arm.
Well, that's the punter, Brandon Dickerson, on the back end of that. Carolina from its 46. 2 touchdowns in 2 possessions for Howell and the Tar Heels. And Walston on the catch. Hampton and Kent on the stop for Western Carolina.
Offside, defense, number 48, 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And there's a flag from referee Gary Patterson and the explanation. You see on the screen, don't forget college football playoff semifinals New Year's Day, the Rose Bowl at 5 and the All-State Sugar Bowl 8:45. On ESPN, your home of the college football playoffs. Here's Howell on the 1st and 5. A little read play for Sam Howell, and enough for the first down before Hampton makes the stop after an 11-yard run.
Sam Howell does a nice job on the zone read. I'm not going to lie, though, Wes. I don't really want to see Sam Howell running the ball a whole lot in this game. Maybe when he has to, and I know it's not a big part of Phil Longo's game plan, right. But in this one, I want Sam Howell sitting in the pocket, delivering the football. This is one of those where you have the game in hand. Let's protect our quarterback.
Here's Howell, quick throws on the slant, and the catch is made, and it's Is that Emory Simmons? It sure is. Caught in traffic. He made a great catch last week against Notre Dame for the touchdown. This is a pretty good one, too.
It's a really good one. And North Carolina is just so loaded at this position. You're likely going to have to fill a couple spots next year.
Here's Carter bouncing again and stretching for the touchdown. Michael Carter makes it 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns for Carolina. Took A.J. Rogers into the end zone with him, Roddy, for the score.
11 players on the field.
He's 2 for
decline. Touchdown.
He's 2 for 3 in terms of those touchdowns. There was a penalty on the play. I think Western Carolina may have had too many players on the field, but it didn't matter because none of them could tackle Michael Carter. He's got his second one on the board already.
So Carter gets the score. Atkins for the point. And it's 21-3. Carter's got now runs of 17 and 22 here in this first quarter.
Very similar to the first touchdown, just his own play up the middle. He's got a nice hole, had a little more to do on the back end there. Stiff arms one Western Carolina defender, drags the other one into the end zone. We talked about him at the top. He and Javonte Williams, 2 of the most difficult backs to tackle in the entire country. Michael Carter's off to a nice start to his day.
And the Tar Heels have outscored opponents now 132-54 in the opening quarter this year. And Carolina has 2 touchdowns, Roddy, in about a minute and a half, or 2.5 minutes, I should say. And the kick will be away from Jones through the end zone on the bounce. Western Carolina starts at its 25 for the 4th possession here. Well, Williams and Carter, pick your poison, Roddy.
When you have a duo that's as dynamic, it very well could be Javonte Williams with those numbers if he had just been in on those plays. But 53 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 carries, 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty good average right there. It's a pretty good ratio in terms of getting the football and getting in the end zone.
I'll tell you, the thing that you look at with Carter and Williams, and then you talk to Phil Longo and Mac Brown about it. Here's a carry, by the way, Western Carolina getting started. This is Smiley McQueen, who came off a knee injury a year ago and is into the running game now for Coach Spear and the Catamounts. We were told we would see this redshirt freshman from Scotland County High School in southeastern North Carolina at Laurinburg today. But the Carter-Williams thing is interesting because Phil Longo talks about Coach Robert Gillespie, the running back coach at Carolina, and how, you know, they just kind of weave these guys in and out, and the numbers end up very similar and comparable, Roddy, but there's no routine, no script to it, right?
Yeah, it doesn't even matter who's in the game unless both of them are in together, which is even more dangerous than only having one.
Well, you showed that in the open. Chaz Surratt, the tackle of Stanley, and that gets us to the end of quarter 1 in Chapel Hill. Well, number 17, North Carolina, has got a pair of rushing scores from Michael Carter and a Sam Howell touchdown pass to Antoine Green. 21-3 after 15 minutes. We go to quarter 2 here in Chapel Hill with Roddy Jones, Larisha Harris, Alex Farmartino, our producer, Dennis Lanius, our director, our great ACC Network crew. Western Carolina takes over, or they have it for 3rd down at their 30-yard line, 3rd and 5, and the carry by McQueen. He got stacked up. Surratt
Ruling
led
on
the
the
tackle
field forward
parade
progress
for
prior to
Carolina.
losing possession. 4th down.
And it will be 3 and out here for the Catamounts. McQueen, did he cough it up here? They did rule forward progress before the ball popped loose. And ball is out.
Yeah, it was a good call there. I mean, he was stacked up. His forward progress had been stopped, and that Carolina defense ripped it out. But it was a good call to call forward progress.
So here's Brandon Dickerson to punt it away again. And Newsom will run to the far sideline and watch it check up at the 25, and that's where it is downed by Calvin Jones. Quick reminder for you, ACC Network's got 6 undefeated teams in women's basketball tripleheader next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Start in Pittsburgh, the Panthers and Clemson at noon. Sam Ravitch and Kelly Gramlich there. Then number 8, NC State at Conti Forum against Boston College. Pam Ward, LaChana Robinson will finish it up with Beth Mowens and Christy Thomas-Scuddy. Carolina, number 5, Louisville. Women's basketball on ACC Network a week from Sunday. Tar Heels off their 25. First possession of the second quarter. Howell spins it middle of the field. Here comes Newsom to the near side across the 40. Daz reroutes again and knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line by Gathers.
Howell's pass is complete to number 5, Daz Newsom. First down, Tar.
It's funny talking to Sam Howell about Daz Newsom. You see just his ability with the ball in his hands. Daz Newsom's the guy that's always open. Always comes back and says, hey, you should have thrown it to me. And he may have had 3 guys around him, but when you can do stuff like that, I'd tell you I was always open too, Wes, if I was that dynamic.
Here's another throw. Newsom in the slot. Got some help from De'Ami Brown on the block. Pushes it upfield toward the 50. Trevor Childers. Senior linebacker, and Newsom will take a break. Well earned, I might add.
And we touched on it earlier, Wes. He came into this game with 40 receptions on the season, had 72 last year. And Phil Longo said, look, they are bracketing Daz Newsom all the time, so the production just hasn't been there. But he's done so much for this team this season, whether it's in the special teams game or just blocking for those running backs or making plays on screen passes. He's just been such an invaluable part of this offense. De'Ami Brown's gotten a little more of the catches this season, but Daz Newsom has certainly had a big impact still.
Quick throw to Toe Groves and a first down for Carolina. Howell is 12 of 13 to start the ball game and make it 13-14. And Groves hit the ground. Did the ball pop loose after he hit it? No, it's a fumble. So the junior from Nashville, Rontavious Groves,
Ruling on the field is a catch.
coughs it
Recovery
up.
by the defense. First down.
And it looks like Western Carolina going to be the beneficiary on a play by A.J. Rogers.
It's going to be, so certainly be reviewed, or at least looked at by the review booth. They're going to be looking for, did he have it long enough to be declared a catch, and then was he down before this ball came out? Off the
See
replay
Curtis
that we
Roach
saw.
there who recovered the fumble, the linebacker.
Yeah, and Wes, off the replay we saw, I think both of those are check marks. I think he had it long enough to be considered a catch and did not look like anything was close to being down.
So off the 29-yard line, the Catamounts with a reverse and throw, and here is the tight end. This is Owen Kasinke down to the Carolina 31-yard line. Big throw to Kasinke, the tight end, from Reggie Jones.
Gotta love it. Kasinke is lined up to the bottom. He just sneaks down there to make it look like it's run the other way. Then the reverse comes, he sneaks out, and it's a monster play for Western Carolina.
40-yard throw. And Kason Linke has
Legal
come to the ball
substitution.
game.
Offense. Breaking the huddle with 12 in the huddle.
True
5-yard
freshman
penalty.
from Mobile,
First down.
Alabama, who played at Mobile Christian. And we get our first look at Linke, by the way, who a year ago in high school at Mobile Christian threw for 2,000 yards and rushed for another 1,000, Roddy. Playing for the longtime former college football assistant, Alabama, and other stops for Ronnie Cottrell. So you heard the penalty on the 12 men in the huddle. So the ball at the 36 here for the Catamounts after the Tar Heel fumble. And this is Linke working down to the 34 for a couple of
Jason
yards.
Lincoln on the quarterback keeper. 8 of 2 on the play.
So Lincoln picks up a couple, and we expect to see not only this youngster quarterback, but also perhaps another true freshman as well for Mark Spear. And this is where, Roddy, you touched on this. This is where the kind of the preseason aspect of this works, right? This is the last game before late February.
Absolutely. They were going to play two quarterbacks in this game no matter what. And Mark Spear said, look, you got to evaluate these guys against live reps when you have the opportunity.
That ball is fumbled on the give to Stanley. But I think he was able to get back on it and was for the Catamounts.
Just a wobbled exchange here. I don't know if Linker let go of the ball a little too soon or Stanley didn't squeeze on it, but either way, the ball ends up on the ground, Larisha.
When we were talking to head coach Mark Spear, he said that was one of the things that he was going to be looking for, like you said, during this game. You know, are you productive? Are you winning those individual battles? When they watch back the film, they want to see that because, like you said, it's an evaluation game.
So here's the 3rd and 15 play. Lincoln eludes the rush and will work his way back upfield and then slip down at the 35. 4th down coming for the Catamounts.
I think he tripped over his own guy, Wes. Got close to the feet of one of his offensive linemen. Looked like he got a little tangled up, but it's a nice little slippery move in the backfield to make a couple of guys miss. I thought he might be able to find some open space and potentially get the first down. Doesn't happen as he gets tripped up by one of his own guys.
Tyrone Hopper got a hand in there for the Tar Heels. And Carolina looks like they're keeping their defense on the field here for 4th and 13. And a short punt. And that will be fielded by Newsom just outside the 10. Back after this.
4 teams, 2 semifinals. New Year's Day, the college football playoff lives on ESPN.
Number 17, North Carolina, has 3 touchdowns in 4 possessions. The other one a turnover. Now they get their worst starting spot from the 12. As we rejoin you with Roddy Jones, Larisha Harris, Wes Durham. Game 1 of our ACC Network triple header. And Michael Carter going to work around the edge. And he'll get 8 to the 20 before Ty Harris, the leading tackler on the Catamount squad, the linebacker from Decula, Georgia, makes the tackle, Larisha.
Yeah, when we were talking to offensive coordinator Phil Longo, he told us that Michael Carter is just a super positive and energetic individual.
No doubt about that. Here is the carry for Carter. 4 more, Larisha. Go ahead.
I wanted to talk about this story really quickly because it was just really awesome and just really shows the type of guy that Michael Carter is. Coach Longo said one day he was really down. His daughter had dealt with a diabetic emergency, and he saw Michael Carter, and it just made him right. He says he's the person that he goes to see before every practice, every game, because Michael Carter just has that positivity to get him right and in a great mood.
Roddy, not often the coach says he goes to the player for the get right.
You're exactly right. And having spoken to Michael Carter before, I know he's been on the show as well, I believe. He is a magnetic personality. Just always smiling, always comes to work, absolutely loves football, and you love to see him have this type of day, especially on senior day.
Sam Howell cuts it loose and up the ladder to make the catch, Emery Simmons. And he will finally be pushed out of bounds near the 45-yard line. Another acrobatic catch from Emery Simmons.
Emery Simmons has exploded on the scene, it seems like. Obviously had the fantastic catch against Notre Dame a week ago. But this is a guy who's kind of going to be the heir apparent next year. De'Ami Brown's got a decision to make. Daz Newsome will not be back. Emery Simmons is going to step into that void, and they'll be in good hands.
Here's Javonte Williams in the open field. Williams inside the 30 to the 24. Just gliding along goes Williams with a nice throw from Howell to set it up.
Wes, there's 4 backs in the country that have 800 yards rushing and 200 receiving. North Carolina's got 2 of them, and you see why right then. Just so dangerous with the ball in their hands. They've both got great hands and great feel in the open field.
De'Ami Brown slices inside the 10. First and goal for Carolina.
And after being frustrated the last 2.5 quarters, I'd say, against Notre Dame, I mean, this North Carolina offense picked up right where it left off prior to that. And you would expect that in a game against a team with Western Carolina that's obviously overmatched from a physical standpoint, but the sharpness is something that you have to worry coming off of a tough loss.
That's their second timeout of the half.
Catamounts going to burn a timeout. Their second will step aside as well. Just under 7 to go first half. Tar Heels threatening again.
ACC Network Football is presented by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
Roddy, next time we're in Chapel Hill, we get Eric McClain and Eric Wood with us. You know, those guys that look after their haberdashery the way they do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get him into Julian's on Franklin Street. Since Eric McClain said he had his Roy Williams look on today on the huddle, we'll get him one of those blazers. We can get him a mask from Julian's, in fact.
I'm not sure he wasn't already there, Wes. I mean, that blazer you had on today, that was a Roy Williams blazer.
Here's Sam Howell and the Tar Heels now first and goal inside the 10 out of the Catamounts timeout. And Javonte Williams will get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a step more, and that's Ty Harris, the linebacker, with the stop.
Curtis Roach, number 33, on the tackle for Western Carolina.
Andy McCollum, very complimentary of his linebacker, the senior from Decula, Ty Harris. What he's been able to do in a couple ball games leading Western Carolina in tackles. Excited about what he'll bring to the table for them when they get into Southern Conference play in February. Here's Howell, pressure coming to his right and overthrows Simmons.
Western Carolina brought pressure off both ends. They're able to get to Sam Howell, make him uncomfortable.
And Curtis Roach.
Today's one of those days where if you're a North Carolina fan, you just cringe anytime anybody gets in the area code of Sam Howell.
Right. Mark Spear not happy at all with Gary Patterson, the referee.
He was looking at that card, and as it was noted in the truck, he is not checking lottery numbers, and he is certainly expressing some displeasure with something that happened on that one.
Yep, here's third and goal. Howell cuts it loose into traffic. Williams comes up with the catch, I believe. It is ruled a catch at the 3-yard line. Fourth and goal for the Tar Heels.
How often do you see a running back making a diving catch going over the middle? And looks like North Carolina is going to leave the offense on the field. Give those guys some experience in a pressure situation. 4th and 3. It's maybe an opportunity to work on a 2-point play as well. This is kind of the area where you'd run that. See what they go with.
So here's Howell. A couple of tight ends. Walston and Morales both in the package here. They're going to hand the ball. Javonte Williams scores easily.
Javonte Williams, touchdown, Carolina.
Why do anything fancy when zone up the middle has been the way that you've been able to score on the ground? In the other couple of drives, saw Marcus McKeithen, Brian Anderson doing work up the middle, Jordan Tucker sealing off the edge. Javonte Williams gets on the board. Can't let Michael Carter have all the fun today.
And the kick is good from Atkins. Javonte Williams making it look easy in Chapel Hill. And we'll hold off on our timeout. Sideline warning on Carolina, I guess. And we will take a timeout. 5.5 to play. 28-3 Tar Heels. Well, you see the single season touchdown marks at Carolina. Javonte Williams just broke a tie at 3 with Mike Voigt, who was the ACC Player of the Year in 1976, and Kelvin Bryant. Roddy, who, by the way, was the MVP of the Philadelphia Stars in the USFL the first year they had a championship game, by the way. Here's the kick. No return for Western Carolina. And by the way, it also gives us an opportunity to show you one of the great players in Carolina history, and this is number 23, Don McCauley. Huntington Station, New York. He broke O.J. Simpson's NCAA rushing record. You see him score against Clemson, Wake Forest. This is Virginia. But Roddy, his final game as a Tar Heel against Duke, 47 carries, 279 yards. 1,720 yards, topped O.J. 1709 from 1968.
Man.
Is that getting it done, by the way? Just checking.
Pretty impressive. 47 totes? Like, when's the last time you saw a guy have 47 carries? I mean, that's the number that stood out to me. They don't make running backs like they used to, Wes.
Ball spot at the 28-yard line.
The touchdown mark, by the way, 5 that day against Duke in his final bow as a senior, stood until Kelvin Bryant scored 6 against East Carolina. And there's a whole other story about that we don't have nearly enough time for today.
We might at some point.
Ball at the 28. Lenka got 3 on the carry, and they run it right back. And this is Smiley McQueen, the young freshman, redshirt freshman, who was playing last year, had 89 yards on 21 carries at the start of his rookie campaign before a knee injury took him out. And this is he and Stanley and Bradley, all guys that they were interested to see today in the Western Carolina ground attack to help Donovan Spencer once they get back to a regular schedule in the fall, or in the spring rather.
Don't think you slipped that Philadelphia Stars reference by me, Wes. I caught that one too.
Yeah, he was the MVP of the regular season with Bryant. They lost to the Michigan Panthers in the first ever title game. Here's the throw on the perimeter, and this is Calvin Jones making the grab. 6th catch of the year for Jones, who had 4 catches in the loss at Eastern Kentucky a couple of weeks ago. Roddy, in Mark Spears' case, it's 28-3. You're having a hard time stopping Carolina. The only time Carolina's been stopped is when they fumbled the ball. The idea here for Spear, though, you've got to be able to take something into that locker room to build on for half two to get value out of this, or as Larisha talked about, the process he wants to go through with this team, not just now, but once they get back into fall or in spring football in the month of February.
Yeah, and his offense has moved the ball in this first half. I mean, they've had a couple of drops that have stopped some drives, but offensively, 136 yards so far, and they've found some success both on the offensive line and out on the perimeter. So I think that's the thing you build off of. You go in and you say, hey, look, guys, we were looking to win some individual battles, as Larisha said, and we've done that, especially on the offensive side of the football. So I think Mark Spear will be pleased with how his offense has performed on the whole. Little things here and there are keeping them from putting the ball in the end zone.
Jeremiah Gibble the tackle a moment ago, 2nd and 5. And they're going to hand it to McQueen again. The ball is out, and scramble for it. Carolina promptly says they've recovered it. And they have. Tar Heels come out of there. Kevin Hester, who only played 1 year of high school football at North Cobb outside of Atlanta after Kelly knocked it loose. And McQueen frustrated. Timeout on the field. Western Carolina's first turnover. Hoops Thursday night. We got a doubleheader for you. Starting Winston-Salem, Wake Forest hosts North Carolina. Jen Hildreth and Kelly Gramlich will be there. And then Syracuse, Quentin Hillsman's team in South Florida to meet Katie Meyer's Miami squad Debbie Antonelli, Beth Mowens on our coverage on ACC Network. Here's Daz Newsome back to work. He's had a very, very busy first half for the Tar Heels, Ronnie.
32-yard line.
Longo told us that over these last few games, we're going to get our best players the ball. We're going to do it a ton. And I took that as, hey, Daz Newsome's going to be heavily involved in what we're going to see over the next few games. And that certainly has been the case here today.
15 yards, first down for Carolina. Tar Heels will have the ball to start second half. Maybe trying to add one going to the locker room from Mac Brown. Quick throw, batted down. Nice play. Defensive end Nigel Manns. That's a freshman from Peach County High School. In Byron, Georgia. Nice play there against Sam Howell.
And defensive coordinator Andy McCollum told us Nigel Mann and some of these other young players, he's really excited about what they can bring and loves the experience that they're getting before things start going for real in Southern Conference play.
Howell, the pump, the throw, Walston the catch, inside the 15.
Howell's pass is complete to number 84,
Garrett Walston. Another catch in the throw game against the corner Gathers.
First down, Tar.
See what happens. Sam Howell does the fake and then throws it. Ooh, a little low hit. I'm telling you, this is one of those games, Wes, where every time it happens, just a little bit of a cringe because you're certainly up. And then, obviously, earlier this year, we had the Charles Snowden injury against Abilene Christian. It's just, you want to get everybody out healthy.
Another throw, Howell, this time to Newsome.
Number 5, Daz Newsome.
First and goal for Carolina here with
5-yard line.
1:46 and counting in the opening frame. 4 touchdowns, 5 possessions for Carolina so far. Carter's the running back with Howell here on the first and goal. And Michael Carter easily into the end zone for his third rushing score of the half.
Another inside zone play, Wes. I think all 4 of their rushing touchdowns have been some version of this. Look at the block by Garrett Walston up at the top, cutting down the backside. Michael Carter, once again, easily gets into the end zone and keeps the train rolling for North Carolina.
Atkins to add the point. Cleanly through, 35-3. Just over a minute and a half to go after Carter's third run. Coming up at the half, Jordan Cornette in studio with Coach Rick, Eric McClain. They'll be covering not only the details of this first half, but also a look ahead to Boston College, Virginia, Georgia Tech, NC State over in Raleigh, and then Duke, Miami tonight. And Wallace Wade in Durham as well. So stay tuned. Those guys coming up at the break. Mac Brown, Phil Longo got to be pretty happy here, Roddy. It's been very businesslike as we thought it might be.
Very efficient, businesslike, I think is a good way to describe it. I think they're now talking about the fact that it's time for Sam Howell to exit stage left. Who else are they going to work in? But this is exactly what they imagined when coming into this game.
Return back to the 25 for Jones. Mark Spears got 1 timeout remaining for the final 91 seconds of this first half of play. Linka will continue to be the quarterback here. We saw Will Jones start the ball game. Kason Linka, the freshman, has been on since, and we may see Kate Snotherly as well before the afternoon's done. But a real good chance for Coach Spear and John Holt, his offensive coordinator, to get a look here at this young freshman. Here is Spencer, and he is pulled down, and it's Bahasic. Roddy, you asked Jay Bateman about Ray Vahasek and Mac Brown yesterday, and those are the kind of plays Carolina fans have come to see in this fall.
Being a nose tackle, Ray Vahasek does not get the credit that I think he deserves for his impact on the defense. Jay Bateman said, look, when we played the run well, it's because Vahasek has played well. He's a guy that pops up the middle as a disruptive force. I think as he continues to get stronger, and that was something that Jay Bateman talked about this offseason, he got stronger, and as he gets stronger, he's going to be a really, really good player next year.
Now, don't forget, this is game one of our triple header here on ACC Network coming up. Georgia Tech, NC State in Raleigh, presented by Dr. Pepper. Jeff Sims and the Jackets. The Wolfpack have won 3 straight, and today try to win an ACC best 7th game, Roddy. NC State's never won 7 conference games in a campaign. And then tonight over in Durham, De'Aaron King and the Canes against the Blue Devils, presented by Geico as well here on ACC Network.
I haven't seen De'Aaron King in a while, but fantastic season and fantastic impact for him on that Miami program.
And knocked out of bounds by Renee is Spencer, but King also, Roddy, time to time gets lost in the conversation about quarterbacks in this league too.
Yeah, that's what happens. You know, we were talking before coming on. It's sort of out of sight, out of mind, both from the College Football Playoff Committee standpoint, from us, you know, Manny Diaz in that Coach of the Year conversation, De'Aaron King in the conversation of best quarterbacks in the ACC. When you haven't played in a couple weeks, you kind of fall out of those conversations. So it's a good opportunity for them to come out and make a statement.
Third down here for Western Carolina. Carolina's still got 2 timeouts. Lincoln trying to break free, and I think Vahasek got him around the legs and then waited on some mates to show up. Kimmel was there.
Timeout, North Carolina. That's their second timeout.
So there's the second timeout. Chad Surratt also involved in it. So 2 plays by the big nose guard. And with 1:06 to go, Carolina will have a timeout and wait on a catamount punt. Coming up at the half, a look ahead to tonight's primetime matchup over on ABC with number 3 Clemson and Virginia Tech. Roddy, the Tigers getting somewhat healthier, although Dabo Swinney said the safety Landon Sanders will not be back until the postseason. Everyone else, though, trying to get back into the lineup for Clemson here in the next couple of weeks.
James Skalski's pitch count will continue to rise. He's going to play more in that game. So we're starting to see sort of the crescendo of the season happening towards that rematch, the potential rematch, I guess we have to say right now to be journalistically correct. The potential rematch between Clemson and Notre Dame.
Tigers need a win in Blacksburg to meet Notre Dame in Charlotte. Dickerson's punt toward Daz Newsome. And it will go out of bounds. And it will be awarded to Carolina. There's a flag down on the play. And a punt way, way back up the field. And Gary Patterson has got to sort out the punt and the flag here. That punt was measured out of bounds at the Western Carolina 35-yard line.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 27, receiving team. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down, North Carolina.
So the Tar Heels will back themselves up there on the penalty here with a minute to go. Michael Carter's had a sensational first half for North Carolina. You know the 3 rushing scores on 8 carries, Roddy. But he's also been really electric just in the open field.
Well, and that's who he's been his entire career in North Carolina. Had 1,000 yards a year ago. He's already accepted an invitation to the Senior Bowl, and when he's there, he is going to blow it up because of his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, make people miss in the open field. But from the interview process standpoint and interacting with these pro coaches, he is going to be a joy for these guys to be around.
Joffrey Brown, his first catch of the day, a laser from Sam Howell.
Ball's about the 26-yard line.
Gets the Tar Heel drive 24 yards to the Western Carolina 26.
Yeah, no, it was a 9-yard punt for Western Carolina, 15 yards tacked on to the end of that, put North Carolina at the 50. and it gives Sam Howell an opportunity in live reps to go through a 2-minute drill.
Yep. 55 seconds left. Tar Heels with a timeout. Howell looks. Going to loop for the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Carolina. And Daz Newsome.
Touchdown, Carolina.
Wes, Mac Brown called a timeout to give his team this opportunity to go through, because you don't get these live situations in situational football often. When you do, you have to give your quarterback and your team an opportunity to go through it. This is about as well as they could have imagined. A 2-play 50-yard drive that ends in a 26-yard strike to Daz Newsome.
6 touchdowns in 7 first-half possessions for Carolina. And here is Atkins for the point. 42-3. And Howell continues to move up the career passing list in touchdowns. Now tied for second in Tar Heel history with Brent Renner.
We saw Brent Renner live and in person. That was a really good player, but Sam Howell's going to rewrite the record books. See Daz Newsome goes inside like he's going to run either a seam or a post, comes back out to the corner. He is wide open. Sam Howell shows you why he's one of the best in the country. Daz Newsome having an explosive day on senior night as well.
20 of 23, 287, 2 touchdowns here for Howell. Newsome, 6 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown. Targeted 6 times and the 6 catches. No return off the kick by Carolina. So with 49 seconds left, Tar Heels also get the ball to start the second half. And Roddy, this may be playing out in some respects where Phil Longo and Jay Bateman, the offensive and defensive coordinators for Carolina, respectively, talking to us yesterday about an opportunity to see some guys for longer looks next week, or longer looks this Saturday, as they kind of look at the back end of what could be a very interesting offseason as it relates to college football. I mean, they've already kind of determined that a couple guys are going to come back who are seniors and will play that extra year, if you will. There's a play of about 5 yards for Western Carolina.
Micah Stanley on the carry to the 30-yard line.
Coach Brown talked this week about Tyrone Hopper's going to come back, Grayson Atkins, Bo Corrales, who's been injury-plagued this year as well. He's a senior. Atkins, a grad student. They're going to bring him back, the kicker we've seen here. All sorts of guys. And that's part of this college football season I don't think many folks are thinking about right now because they're enjoying the games. But that extra year that was awarded by the NCAA is going to come into play for some programs.
Yeah, and you're going to have to figure out how many seniors do you allow to come back, because you're obviously going to have to pay for those guys, and also you're going to have to figure out from a scholarship standpoint how you stay under the NCAA's number for the next year.
Yep. Caleb Ferguson's carry ends this first half, but North Carolina 6 touchdowns in 7 possessions. Michael Carter's got 3 on the ground. Sam Howell's thrown 2 touchdowns, one to Antoine Green, another one to Daz Newsome, and Javonte Williams has a 3-yard touchdown run. So in many respects, the Tar Heels stick to the script and look impressive. And we'll get the ball to start the second half as well. And here's Larisha with Coach Brown.
We certainly appreciate your cooperation.
Get straight, Larisha. There we go. Get it straightened out.
There we go, Coach. How special is it just to witness your seniors on senior day being productive and handling business in the first half?
Larisha, it's really special. It's an emotional day for all of us. Last time they'll be here in this stadium. After Notre Dame's disappointment, didn't know how well they would play. They've come out and they've played hard and they've played well. Defense started a little soft, I thought, in the running game. They were giving us a lot of different motions and shifts and ran some options, but the defense adjusted and the offense has played really well.
Your daughter, Catherine, was on Jeopardy last night. I'm pretty sure you were smiling, especially when she nailed it and was able to claim victory. How special of a moment was that for you?
Well, it was really, really special. I'm so proud of all of our kids, but Catherine's, she wanted to do this. It's something she worked for. It's hard to get on Jeopardy, and I don't have any conversations with her because she's way smarter than I am. The only question I could have answered was Lambeau Field, and that's one she missed. I said, come on, daughter. You've been in football your whole life. I could have gotten that one right.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. Larissa, thanks. Great visit with Coach Brown. We'll talk more about his daughter Catherine and her win last night on Jeopardy. Jordan Cornette is next from our ACC Network studios. Tar Heels leading big at the break. Be back. ACC football presented by Geico. Sam Howell, great first half. Threw for 2 scores on 20 and 23 for 287. See the touchdown there. And then Michael Carter was really good as well. 8 carries, 3 of them for touchdowns, 73 yards. And the senior from Navarre, Florida, his final appearance at Kenan Stadium has given the Tar Heels a 39-point lead. We welcome you back to ACC Network Football, presented by Geico. And a moment ago, Mark Spear, head coach of Western Carolina, with Larissa Harris.
Coach, when we were talking, you said attitude, precision, purpose, and effort were things that you were looking for from your guys. Yep. How would you describe the mentality of your players?
Well, I told them for a quarter and 12 minutes, I thought they battled their tail off against a team, obviously, that's better than us talent-wise right now. And, you know, you were sitting there at a 28-3 ball game, and it all started with a fumble. We give up a big play. You know, we get back out. Carolina used their timeouts. We shank a punt. So it was a little bit of all 3 phases. You know, the turnover killed us, killed our momentum. But, you know, for, like I said, a quarter and 12 minutes, I was proud of the effort of our football team against a very talented team. Now we're going to see what, you know, with such a young group, we're going to see what our character is, because we're going to look at that scoreboard. Will we go fight? Will we go play hard? And will we play for our brothers and love each other and go finish this game?
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
And the Tar Heels with the kick to start the second half. And North Carolina with Toe Groves back out across the 30 toward the 33-yard line. And great to spend a ACC football Saturday with Roddy Jones. And let's see kind of where Carolina goes here. We know we're going to see the freshman from Morrilton, Arkansas, and that is Jacoby Criswell here in the second half for sure, Roddy.
Yeah, you see Jace Reuter there, who is also in the running. We'll likely see him. There's Jacoby Criswell, who's the Player of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year in Arkansas. And Phil Longo's excited about this guy. He was excited to get him some live reps in game situations. Said he's as good as a thrower of the football and as good an athlete as he's had at the quarterback position.
Javonte Williams is the running back, and he'll break free here. Williams almost to the 44-yard line, but this 6'1¼ tall freshman Criswell has only thrown 1 ball on the year, and he has 4 carries for 20 yards, but he was the number 11 dual threat guy coming out of Arkansas a year ago, and he's got some numbers to back it up in his high school career. Didn't see anything there, and keep it on the ground and break midfield on the second snap of the half here for Jacoby Criswell. Tackle made by Ron Johnson on the defensive line for the Catamounts.
And this is really valuable experience for Jacoby Criswell. Being behind Sam Howell, you don't get a lot of opportunities to get in ball games, but the development of that backup spot is so valuable. I mean, we see it across college football every single season. Guys could go down. This is really big.
Intercepted, picked off, and this is Ronald Kent taking it all the way back for the Catamount touchdown.
There are multiple flags on the play.
There is a flag on the play. And Kent really upset here.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block. Number 3, Western Carolina. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st and 10, Western Carolina.
Darius Smith is ticketed for the penalty, but great play by Ronald Kent.
Wes, this was an out route, and Kent just jumps it. And you saw Darius Smith at the end coming in and hitting the North Carolina receiver. That is, I mean, if you're Mark Spear, that's one of those that you get laid into in film because it's a completely unnecessary block. It had nothing to do with the play. Ronald Kent was going to stroll into the end zone no matter what. You see Criswell getting some tips from Sam Howell, telling him what he saw on that play.
So Western Carolina takes over at North Carolina's 49. And we get another change at quarterback for the Catamounts as well. There's Donovan Spencer as Will Jones has come back to start this third period. And second half for Coach Spear. There's the redshirt junior from Greensboro who split time with Kason Linka in the first half.
Will Jones had some success, especially in the run game. We saw the speed option right there. Had some success with the zone reads earlier too.
And this is Spencer again trying to get to the backside of the play, and that's the freshman Desmond Evans chasing Spencer now.
Now look at the bottom of your screen. Ronald Kent just sits on the route and undercuts it. That ball's thrown a little inside, but Jacoby Criswell stares that way the entire time, and Kent reads it like a book.
Third and 4, the scenario for Western Carolina here. You see 2 of 8 today. And Jones empties the backfield. Quick throw, and the catch is made. And that is Spencer.
Jones' pass is complete to number 20.
Grabbing the ball at the 35, and that'll be enough for a Catamount first down. Roddy, I kind of like what John Holt and Mark Spear are doing with Donovan Spencer here today.
Yeah, I do too. You know, they've gotten him involved some in the pass game. Had a drop earlier, but guys, they've gotten him involved in the pass game. They've run with him some. They had some success early in the game with the zone plays. All in all, Mark Spear's got to be pleased with his offense. Certainly not pleased with the fumble, but his offense has moved the ball some here today.
Yep. Spencer stays in the ball game with Jones. And another carry for Donovan Spencer. Breaks free inside the 20. Good hard running by the 5th-year senior from Charlotte. Tackle made by Trey Morrison out of the Tar Heel secondary. 15-yard line, 1st and 10 for Western Carolina on a red zone trip.
Well, Mac Brown said that he was not pleased with his defense's job in the run game early in the game. They sort of settled down. Well, in the second half, it looked like it did to start the game, with Western Carolina having success running the ball up the middle.
So Donovan Spencer just shy of 50 yards on the afternoon. And that time he got hit right in the hole. Desmond Evans was there. Eugene Asante. 2 young guys they are incredibly excited about in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, when you're talking about replacing Chaz Surratt next year, Eugene Asante is going to be in the mix to do that. So again, the reps that you get in games like this kind of give you a leg up going into the spring. Eugene Asante has been a guy that's played some, but when you're behind Jeremiah Gimmel and Chaz Surratt, it's not often that you're getting in the game in the middle of the third quarter.
So here's 2nd down and 10. Another option look from Jones. He'll pitch to Spencer, and Carolina hemmed it up pretty well.
The pitch is to
Patrice Renee
Spencer.
was the Tar Heel that got a helmet in there from the secondary.
Yeah, and Renee was a little shaken up. You're going to see, you saw the hit there. He kind of staggered when he got up. He's come off the field now. Got his helmet off. So we're going to take a look at him.
And Aquarius Conley has come in the ball game now for Carolina. He wears 0 on defense. And Now 3rd down and 8 for Western Carolina. And again, they slide it forward to Donovan Spencer. And it'll be 4th down coming up. And Patrice Rene, the senior from Ottawa, Ontario, playing in his final game at Kenan Stadium, into the medical tent.
And you hope to see Patrice Rene come back into this game, obviously. But if he does not, and this has been his final game, I mean, Jay Bateman just raved about the leadership that he's provided to that secondary room, and also said that play in Canada for about 1,000,000 years if he wants to.
26-yard try here for Richard McCollum, and it's a fake. Catamount's going to throw for the end zone, and incomplete. Cade Snotherly, the 3rd quarterback on the roster, was looking for Clayton Bardall in the end zone and overthrew him incomplete on the fake field goal. So the Catamounts, little trickeration on a 4th down play, comes up empty. Back to Chapel Hill. (42-3), number 17 Carolina gets the ball back. Josh Henderson is coming in the backfield now with Jacoby Criswell, by the way, at the running back position. And here is Henderson going to work on his first carry. And picks up better part of 5 as Carolina starts from its 9. Roman Johnson was the first guy in a purple helmet to greet Josh Henderson. Pennington, New Jersey, just his 8th carry of the year, and Patrice Rene out of the medical tent for the Tar Heels. And a yard or 2 there for Henderson on 2nd down, Larisha.
Well, you guys were talking about Patrice Rene when I spoke with Tony Grimes and was just asking him, you know, who was the person, you know, when you came in that took you under his wing, and he mentioned Patrice Rene served as a go-to guy for him. He was very informative, helped him out a lot, says he's an OG on the defense, and he'll be remembered as the father of the Rudes.
Well, and it goes back to a Dre Bly influence. As you see, the 3rd down play for Carolina, just the 3rd down of the day for the Tar Heels. Dre Bly apparently has gone Rude Boys with the Tar Heels secondary, Roddy. I know that's shocking.
Yeah. when you have a group like the DBs, like those guys always have to have some sort of identity. You know, they gotta have their own thing going, and Dre Bly's a good one to learn from if you're any of those DBs here at Carolina.
Ben Kiernan to punt, young man from Ireland, averaging about 44 yards a punt. Daquan Patton deep for Western Carolina, and will signal for and make the fair catch at the 43. Timeout in Chapel Hill.
I listened to what Jim Valvano said 21 years ago. I now have a responsibility to also not ever give up. I'm not special. I just listened to what the man said. I listened to all that he said, everything that he asked of us, and that's to build the V Foundation.
During these challenging times, ESPN and the V Foundation's fight against cancer has not stopped. If you're able, please support cancer research by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of what you give goes to cancer research. Carolina graduate, Winston-Salem, North Carolina native, Stuart Scott brings us back to Chapel Hill. Let's check with Larisha.
Well, before the half, I was able to ask Coach Mack Brown about his daughter being a part of Jeopardy, and he told me that he was just so elated and excited for her because she overcame so much. She is actually a cancer survivor. She's a mother, she's a wife, and for her to be able to just be selected among hundreds to participate in such a wonderful game as Jeopardy, he was just extremely excited for her and said, regardless of what happened, you are a winner. And in fact, she was the winner. And Roddy, Wes, we want to ask you the question that she actually won on.
Wes, I hope you got the answer, man, because You're getting no help from over here, I can promise you that.
Well, you're the one with 2 degrees from Georgia Tech. Here is Jones, a long throw on the perimeter. And catch made by DeQuan Patton. Okay, Larisha, here we go. Do we have to answer in the form of a question, by the way?
Yes.
Oh, look at this.
You have to answer it the same way you would on Jeopardy. Okay, here it is. What's now this nation resisted naval sieges by the Berbers in 1429, the Ottomans in 1565, and Axis World War II air assaults?
Roddy?
The answer must be in the form of a question. Yes.
What is, I don't know, man. What is Hawaii? That's not a nation, so I'm already out. I don't know. What is Australia? That wouldn't have been World War II. I got no idea, Wes. I got nothing for you.
What is Cyprus?
Good try. What is Malta?
Malta? Go on.
What is
Is that your
Malta?
next guess?
A huge flex on her part for winning with that question.
I just went with something I knew was old and near the Mediterranean because that was where World War II was. Yeah.
Look,
Roddy went with Australia just in case you folks needed a continent.
It's also a country. You put me on the spot with the island nation thing. Like I couldn't come up with any island nation.
By the way,
off the top of my head.
Larisha, can I add very quickly? How about Mac flexing back to you that Catherine missed Lambeau Field and he was upset about that? So
right. He's like, come on, you've been around football all your life. How could you not get that one? Lambeau Field. That's the answer.
You know what? Congratulations to Catherine. I know Mac and Sally are delighted for her. Barbara, her sister, great family. And an extended family with Mac and Sally. And boy, they're so proud of their entire group. And should be. But that is just a wonderful story. Thank you, Larisha, for that. Here is Donovan Spencer making the play to midfield. I'm sorry, Larisha, go ahead.
No worries, Wes. The other 2 opponents actually guessed your answer, Cyprus. So
you're in good company,
you get
Wes.
credit. You get credit for that one.
Yeah.
Well,
the other classes away from the history minor, Roddy, at Elon.
The other really cool thing that Mac Brown mentioned when we talked to him about it was the fact that Catherine got to participate with Alex Trebek in what came to be some of his last days before he succumbed to his battle with cancer as well. So it was obviously something that was very special to him and his family.
Yep. Here is Jones cutting it loose on 4th down, overthrown and almost picked on the back end by Giovanni Biggers. And we will take a timeout. 5 and change to go. Tar Heels in front. With Roddy Jones, Larisha Harris, West Durham, Kenan Stadium, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 42, Western Carolina 3. Larisha, can you get somebody to straighten me up, by the way, over there in the seats? Jacoby Criswell's 3rd series of work. And the first down give is DJ Jones. Freshman from Pine Forest in Fayetteville, North Carolina. 8th carry of the year for Jones. Another one of these running backs, Elijah Green, Josh Henderson, DJ Jones, British Brooks. All guys that they were interested in seeing today if possible. Out in the flat, here's the catch for Toe Groves, and he'll turn the corner, be near a first down. Pushed out of bounds by L.A. Rogers Anderson. Transfer from Western Kentucky to the Catamount program.
5 on the play.
Wes, you mentioned this North Carolina coaching staff wanting to get a look at these running backs. I think they are very aware, obviously, of the fact that they may have to replace that whole all the production that they've gotten from the running back position with Michael Carter obviously being a senior, going to the Senior Bowl. He will not be back. Javonte Williams is a junior whose stock has been rising all season. So getting a look at some of these guys is going to be important.
Here's Criswell on a 3rd and 2. Tackled by Curtis Roach.
Quarterback keeper. Gain of 3 on the play. Ball's probably 39. First down, Tar.
So Carolina will have the first down with Criswell. And Curtis Roach, junior redshirt from Cumming, Georgia, awarded a scholarship in the offseason by Mark Spear and his dad, Kirk Roach. Hall of Famer at Western Carolina, Roddy, as a place kicker. 71 career field goals for Kirk Roach, by the way, in his days as a Catamount. Criswell going to cut it loose deep for the end zone and broke it up on the way for Antoine Green. There is a marker down around the end zone line.
Pass interference, defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That'll give Carolina a first down. Quick finish on the Roach number. Here's the look, by the way, on the ball for Green.
Yeah, pretty obvious pass interference on that one when you swipe the hand before the ball gets there.
By the way, Kirk Roach, Roddy, still has the Southern Conference record for the longest field goal. He's been tied now, but he kicked 2 57-yard field goals back in 1987. There's Criswell on the first down keep for a yard.
The quarterback keeper for the Tar Heels.
As we go inside 3.5 to play in quarter 3.
No gain on the play.
I mean, we've seen guys kick field goals this year, but 2 of them from 57 in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And
71 field goals, though. You know, some of that is playing a lot. Some of that's a lot of stalling and plus territory by the offense there, too.
71 career field goals, 24 of them in 1987. Second down and 10 for Criswell. And Jacoby spins it right in the middle of the field, and that's Kamari Morales. The tight end, Larisha, picks up the first down.
You guys were talking about Curtis Roach and his dad. Well, I asked him, how is it knowing that your dad is there at the school and he's a Hall of Famer? Well, he told me when he arrived at Western, he tried not to tell anybody about his father because he wanted to create his own image, his own legacy. But after a while, it was just inevitable. And he was actually happy to know that he could look up and see his dad sort of watching over him as he practiced and played.
Yeah, great story. Inside give, spinning toward the end zone is Jones.
DJ Jones on the carry.
And he'll be brought down at the 1.
Rogers Anderson on the tackle for the Catamounts.
12-yard run for DJ Jones. Puts Carolina on the doorstep.
That offensive line still doing work no matter who's in the backfield. North Carolina is on the doorstep.
And we get a whistle
there is a flag
and
on the
procedure on
Prior
Carolina.
To the snap, ball start, number 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's another look at DJ Jones here, Roddy, because here's the future right in front of you in some respect.
Yeah, former wide receiver, a guy that moved to running back late in his high school career. Nice run there. You know, the thing that's going to be hardest to replace is just the Carter Williams, if both of them do indeed go, because Javonte Williams obviously has not declared yet. The just their ability to make people miss in the open field. That's what we're going to be looking for out of these backs.
Jones lowered his shoulder that time on Ty Harris, linebacker. Second down coming up. Well, you look at Jones. Josh Henderson is a sophomore. He's 210 pounds. Elijah Green is a 200-pound freshman. Plus, the recruiting has gone very well in Chapel Hill, reportedly. Some of that was marked on the defensive side last year. Here's Criswell on a keeper, spins, tries to reach for the end zone. The ball popped loose. And a scramble for it after the hit by Harris on Criswell, and it will stay with the Tar Heels for third down.
Well, it so far has not been the appearance for Jacoby Criswell that I think you would have imagined. Through the pick that should have been a pick six, and this one, there's just no need to reach the ball out there unless you are sure you're going to get it across the end zone, because it obviously could come out and did there.
Third down and goal. And this is Jones finding a seam for the Carolina touchdown.
Touchdown, Carolina.
DJ Jones, first Tar Heel touchdown.
And it's really cool to see guys like DJ Jones, who've been practicing all season, be able to get their first touchdowns. You know, I remember games like these, Wes, where you're able to get a comfortable lead and you start to see some of those young guys make their way in. See his teammates really excited for him getting his first touchdown at the college level.
And now the point. And with 18 seconds left to go in this third period. New score, Carolina 49, Western Carolina 3.
Well, Wes, this is my favorite time of our broadcast, the time where I get to tell our fans you can get the latest news and information from the ACC each morning with special guests from the world of sports. Packer and Durham, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern time on ACCN and the ESPN app. And that's the combination you can see on Fridays. Fridays are the day to tune in. This Friday we got Mike Tirico for 2 segments. We left a cliffhanger on the first one, and then you got Mike Tirico again. I usually pop up there. Wes, someone does need to straighten you up. It looks like you may be leaning a little too much. We need to check. We need to
call my man James Sperling, or maybe our spotter Eric Fiddleman can run down there during the break and see if he can tidy me up a little bit. Good looking picture, though. I like the picture. That ball is going to check at the goal line and then fielded off the bounce. And Reggie Jones. Thank you, Larissa. Larissa, can you help me out? Bless your heart. Look at her. She's doing the more you can now.
Do. There you go.
There you go.
That's
Thank you, Larissa.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, nice work. Thank you, Larissa.
I don't think my head's ever looked bigger.
We haven't even asked Larissa about the picture yet. You know, we've actually, done a good job just letting that stand, right?
She expressed to us early on that was
that was not ideal.
It was not the one she would have chosen.
It was not the one I would have chosen.
Okay, very good. After the 9-play drive, Catamounts will wind out the third quarter clock on a carry by Stanley. So we go to the fourth in Chapel Hill. Number 17, North Carolina, continuing to dominate. Catamounts threatened. Fake field goal went awry. Jacoby Criswell turned it over, but DJ Jones gets his first Tar Heel touchdown in the third. Back after this. We go to quarter 4 in Chapel Hill. ACC Network football presented by Geico. Number 17, North Carolina. And their third meeting all time with Western Carolina leads 49-3. Will Jones starts the fourth with a shot to Bardall, the tight end.
Will Jones
that'll be enough for a first down.
Clayton Bardall
took a big shot on the back end of
that. Play ball spot at the 32.
Shaking his head a little bit. See him pop up. And look, I think if you're a Western Carolina fan, you have to be really excited about the way the team has competed, especially offensively throughout this game. Jay Bateman's going to have a lot to coach up with his defense.
Yep. Get it inside, and that is Mekhi Stanley from Wilmington, North Carolina on the carry. Tackle made by Kadri Jackson.
5 on the play, ball spotted at the 37-yard line.
You know, Wes, we were talking earlier in the week about just how this UNC defense is shaped up this season. I think the big thing is they are so young on defense, particularly on the back end. There's a lot of reasons to be excited. You got a shot there of Miles Murphy, number 88, and Clyde Pender, number 55. I mean, Jay Bateman said, look, when those two dudes are in the game, they look like potential NFL dudes with their size as true freshmen. So there's a lot of reason to be excited about this defense going forward.
Bit of a reset with 2 receivers, and straight ahead Stanley. And he'll get to the 40 on 2nd and 5. Asante was the first guy there for Carolina.
Asante on the tackle, gain of 3 on the play.
Stanley's got the kind of size at 6'2", 235, Roddy, that he can make you want to get in 22 personnel and run. I mean, I don't know how Mark Spear and John Holt set up in the meeting room and get on the whiteboard, but I can tell you this, if Mekhi Stanley walked in the room at 6'2", 235, and I had a 235 and 240-pound tight end like he does in Cullowhee, I'd line up and go 22 personnel here. Right?
Yeah, and then you throw in the 6'4", 220-pound quarterback, and that quarterback run game becomes even more menacing.
There's a quick throw. Bardall again, or no, that's Kosinski, 84.
Will Jones pass is complete to
one of the two tight ends. Owen Kosinski is a senior in this program. Had 6 catches on the season coming in.
Audrey Jackson on the tackle for the Tar Heels. Gain of 4 on the play. Ball spotted
So
at the
the first and
44-yard
10
line for the
situation.
Catamounts.
Tight end room for Western Carolina is one that they like a lot, and in the Southern Conference, I mean that's going to be one of the things that they rely on heavily.
Pistol set again on 1st and 10, and Stanley will keep and get hit right away at the line of scrimmage. Well, Tuesday night on ESPN, another edition of the College Football Playoff Rankings Show, and here is our able analyst latest predictions.
See,
what
look,
he sees on New Year's Day, perhaps.
This is the way I see it right now. I would have had Florida at 4, Texas A&M at 5. And look, I know Texas A&M beat Florida. Don't come at me with that. Florida's a better football team right now. And if you've got the Texas A&M Auburn game on, you see exactly what I'm talking about with Texas A&M struggling to put Auburn away in that one. And then Ohio State at 6. I just feel like the number of games you have to start rewarding some of these teams that have made it through 7 or 8 games.
On the tackle.
So I would have had Ohio State at 6. And as the number of games it has continues, and they look the way they've looked today against Michigan State, then I think you can move Ohio State up into that conversation.
All right. So for the time being, though, the differential in games is your difference in the ranks, right?
Yeah, and look, the entire argument around having Ohio State at 4 is the eye test. Like, they look better than Florida or Texas A&M. And after what I saw at the end of the Indiana game, I'm just not so sure of that. Now, the way they've looked against Michigan State, I'm more willing to entertain it.
There's a throw on the perimeter, and Quillen will get back toward the original line.
Jones pass is complete to number 82, Jacoby Quillen.
And it'll be 4th down for Western Carolina. By the way, play before last, we got our first real look at space of Kamen Rucker, a true freshman from Hart County in Hartwell, Georgia, who has no problem making plays in a physical fashion.
Another one of those freshmen that they are not only really excited about, but really think they can be a good player. I mean, you've got 3 guys, Rucker, Pinder, Murphy, that they just could not rave enough about.
Austin Chestnut is deep to take the punt. Playing in his final game at Kenan Stadium, the ball's going to hit and skip inside the 20. And with about 5 minutes gone in this 4th period of play, we get a timeout in Chapel Hill. Tar Heels in control.
4 teams, 2 semifinals. New Year's Day, the College Football Playoff lives on ESPN.
Well, probably not what Carolina wanted to see. Jacoby Criswell headed to the locker room looking at his left hand toward the end of the 3rd. So that means the Tar Heel possession will be controlled by Jace Reuter, who was announced as one of those seniors before the ball game, and get a run right from the break. And that's Elijah Green from Blessed Trinity in Roswell, Georgia, picking up about 14 on 1st down. There's a look at Jace Reuter.
And you see Jace Reuter listed as a sophomore, but he's one of those guys that is going to graduate and has decided that he wants to go someplace where he can get some playing time. So it was a nice moment for him to be recognized on senior day, as he's already told Mac Brown that he's gonna go elsewhere because he wants to play some football.
Elijah Green the carry, Nigel Manns and Trevor Childers on the stop for Western Carolina. Green is the son of Victor Green, who played 11 years in the National Football League, most of them with the New York Jets. And a guy that Phil Longo talked about yesterday, Roddy, at length too.
Yeah, it said Elijah Green has looked really good as he's come along in his freshman season. And I think what he was really looking to see, between Elijah Green, Josh Henderson, DJ Jones, British Brooks, who's the guy that in these situations is going to really take the step forward to be either the second guy with Javonte Williams come the springtime or the lead dog once you get to that point in time.
Yeah, and it's an interesting scenario that faces Carolina to the point you brought up in the first half about, with Michael Carter accepting the invitation to the Senior Bowl, Javonte Williams potentially a decision to make. And Coach Brown was candid with us yesterday about the value of having his senior advisors on his coaching staff, notably Darryl Moody, who is a longtime assistant in the NFL, longtime scout in the National Football League for 3 or 4 different organizations. And it puts Javonte Williams in perspective that he's getting the best possible information here. And that's got to be comforting for Mack Brown as well.
And you could say the same thing, and he told us it's the same process and conversation that he's having with De'Ami Brown as well, who has obviously had a fantastic season. And anytime you have the type of season that he's had, you would imagine that you're going to start to look forward. So the advice that they're getting from the connections that those guys have at the next level is invaluable when you're trying to make that decision.
Yep. So Reuter kept it. 2nd down and 6 coming up. Josh Henderson's come in the ball game. And he'll get the carry on the left side. And enough to pick up the first down at the 43 is Henderson.
Josh Henderson on the carry to the 43-yard line.
Tar Heels, after a disappointing loss to Notre Dame, bounce back here today. They got 6 touchdowns in 7 first-half possessions, did Coach Brown's team. And have been able to kind of look at depth guys on the offense and defensive side here in half number 2. Reuter on a quick throw and beyond the reach of Mason Lawrence. And a quick reminder to you, 2 more ball games coming up for you on ACC Network. Next, we'll take you to Raleigh. ACC Network football presented by Dr. Pepper, Jeff Sims and Georgia Tech. Bailey Hockman, NC State, set to ride at Carter Finley Stadium at 4. And then tonight in primetime, presented by Geico, number 10 Miami and the Blue Devils of Duke. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, Katie George, there for you tonight in primetime. Elijah Green back in the ball game on 2nd and 10. He's got 10. He's got 15 for Carolina on the first down play. Rogers, the tackle in the secondary for the Catamounts.
Green on the carry to the 42-yard
the
line.
confidence that you've seen from Elijah Green in this game. I mean, that run was one that was decisive. He gets downfield, makes a man miss. That's the kind of stuff you're looking for, because at 6 foot, 200 pounds, I mean, you have to imagine with the full offseason, he's going to be able to either create more strength with that 200-pound frame, maybe even put a little bit more weight on, come into next season around 205, and with that combination of speed and power, it's going to be dangerous.
Ahead of 6 minutes to go. Pressure coming from the Catamounts, and Reuter fumbles the ball, and it's picked up. And Western Carolina's got Nigel Manns headed to the end zone for the touchdown.
On the recovery of the fumble for the Western Carolina touchdown.
Defensive score for Manns and the Catamounts, and Mark Spears' team gets on the board with a defensive touchdown.
Watch the pressure coming out from the top of your screen. Someone's got to either be responsible for that guy, or the quarterback's got to throw the ball hot off of him. Neither one of those two things happens, and Nigel Manns gets a touchdown that he'll never forget in Kenan Stadium. I will say, whenever you go for the chest bump and you end up on your bottom, whenever you end up on your back, like that means you need a little work on that. They're going to have to go through that in practice a little bit this week.
Extra point is blocked, so it stays 49-9 at Kenan Stadium. The hit, the scoop, and the score.
Nigel
Back after this.
ACC Network Football is presented by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
Well, nice moment here with the Senior Day salutes, and in the age of the pandemic, how do you celebrate, Roddy? You honor your seniors. Those guys come out and you get messages from their families on the video board. That's a very nice touch by Carolina football, and they did that before the ball game today in Chaz Surratt, one of the many being honored here. So Nigel Mann's 42-yard fumble return is the first touchdown of the day for Western Carolina, and Catamounts will kick it away here with just under 6 minutes to go. And the kick is fielded short, and DJ Jones working back up the near sideline. That's where the Tar Heels will start, right around the 43 when we come back. Back with Roddy Jones, Wes Durham, Larisha Harris with us. Sam Howell's day is done, was done at halftime, and 2 more touchdown passes. Roddy only needed 1, though, to have his 23rd straight game with a throwing score. Longest active streak in FBS for Sam Howell. There's a catch by Kendall Carr on the first play of the. And that's Jefferson Boaz you're looking at the quarterback spot. 6'6.5" from East Surrey High School in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina for the Tar Heels.
It's a big quarterback there, 6'6.5", 6'7". Let's see him sling a little bit.
I was waiting on you to kind of say, give me your response to the physical specs on Boaz.
Well, here's the thing that I always struggled with quarterbacks that tall. Like, it makes for really tall handoffs. And British Brooks did a nice job there. I mean, he's only listed at 5'10.5", but that handoff can sometimes get up in your neck when you've got a 6'6" quarterback, man. So it's a good job on both of those guys. Boaz getting it down into the belly. British Brooks giving the big pocket.
Yeah, Boaz strikes pretty powerful pose. He is the 4th Tar Heel quarterback of the day here with 4.5 to go. And this is British Brooks, the junior from Ashbrook High School in Gastonia, North Carolina, who, by the way, was noted in the comments yesterday with Mac Brown about the work he does each week as it relates to special teams and also scout team work, and a walk-on out of Ashbrook. And guys like that, Roddy, that's your core football team right there.
When you have a guy that works so hard for you, doing the dirty work on special teams, and Mac Brown really said, almost without us prompting about that with British Brooks,
yep,
those guys are so valuable that you want to have opportunities to get them in the game and to see what they can do and have success.
Brooks in trouble there, though. Runs to the edge and got tackled. Willie Hampton, transfer out of Garden City Community College, first guy to get to British Brooks on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
Also 4 on the play to the 48-yard line.
And the other thing that's valuable for Mac Brown is he's getting some of those linemen worked in as well. We've seen a number of different iterations on the offensive line. We haven't talked much about those guys today, but the starting group did a really nice job doing what they're supposed to do, being physical up front, really dominating the line of scrimmage, getting a hat on a hat.
Well, the other thing we've mentioned throughout the day is in this return to Chapel Hill's the head coach, Mac Brown has built that culture, but that culture is also being formulated by former players who are now on staff. Now, these are just guys in the, quote, football front office. Tommy Thigpen, the co-defensive coordinator, Dre Black, Corey Holliday, Kevin Donnelly, great lineman, director of high school relations. We saw some other guys involved in it, too, that were part of the process here. 3rd down run for Brooks. Oh, no, that's Elijah Green, who we mentioned earlier.
Gains on the tackle for the Catamounts.
And fourth down coming up. That part of this,
on the punt for the Tar Heels.
Roddy, to me is also pretty important to what Carolina ultimately wants to do here.
Reggie Jones.
It's a family atmosphere, and honestly, no one can sell North Carolina like guys that have been there. Mac Brown said it's kind of funny. I talked to these guys who went to Carolina, and they talk about Carolina like there's no other place on earth. They absolutely love the university. It means so much to them. He said sometimes I don't really get it because I didn't go here, but they get emotional just talking about it.
Reggie Jones was the guy to take the punt, but now with under 2 minutes to go, Ben Kiernan pins Western deep. Stay tuned. Late tonight is the Huddle After Dark. No tie required. Mark Richt, E.J. Manuel, Eric McLean, and Jordan Cornette, who apparently has drawn a line with Roddy Jones this afternoon during our broadcast, in that Australia is a country,
not a continent. There's no drawing. No, it is a continent. There's no drawing lines.
Not a country. Okay.
No, it's both. It's both. I feel like we're doing who's on first right now. I feel like we're doing who's on first.
Makai Stanley. Larissa, would you care to chime in on this after you fixed me in the seats at Keenan?
I actually think
tremendous effort in the second half, by the way.
I think it's whatever you feel in your heart. It can be a continent, it can be an island, it can be a nation.
Oh my goodness. What are we doing?
Whatever you feel in your heart, that's what it is.
It's not whatever you feel. It is literally all of those things.
Okay, Roddy, you're right.
Catherine Brown Ryan's Jeopardy question last night, Coach's daughter who won last night on Jeopardy, and we have turned it into a complete discussion among this broadcast crew.
Jason Lincoln, quarterback on the keeper.
With a minute to go. All right, Roddy, Carolina's going to go to Miami next Saturday. Final game of the regular season. Clemson determines how big that game is for Miami tonight in Blacksburg. But that aside, pretty interesting matchup with two of the premier quarterbacks in the league, and Sam Howell and De'Ara King.
Well, it's also really interesting because the winner of that game, if the ACC gets two teams in the college football playoff, the winner of that game has the inside track to the Orange Bowl as well. So it's a really big game, and I think both teams will be really fired up about playing it. I for one, am really excited to see it.
Throw in the flat here. It's Caleb Ferguson, who had a play late in the first half. And you get a look at some of the young guys in the Carolina secondary making plays. And that is Christopher Holliday, who is the son of Corey Holliday, who we just showed you a moment ago, former great wide receiver at Carolina. Christopher is on the other side of the football from where his dad used to make plays for Mac Brown in his first run here in Chapel Hill. And Corey, just one of the really, really fine people in athletic administration now in the ACC. Good to see Christopher with a play. You could tell the bench liked it. Linke's come on here to finish this up in the final 15 seconds. And
Jason Linke on the quarterback.
That should be the final play of the ball game.
From the 30-yard line.
Tar Heels are going to go to 7-3. Mark Spear in Western Carolina 0-3 in their little fall series here before they line up in late February against Furman to start the Southern Conference season. And the Tar Heels get into the secondary to make the play. Roddy, what'd you see today out of these Tar Heels?
I saw an offense that was really sharp after a week ago, really being stymied by Notre Dame. Defensively, there's going to be some things to work on, obviously, but I think Mac Brown's going to be happy with his team's performance on offense, and that he's getting out of here with everybody mostly healthy like they came into this game.
Big day. Sam Howell, 287, 2 scores. Michael Carter, 8 carries in his final game at Kenan Stadium and 3 touchdowns. Tar Heels convincing, 49-9 will be the final. NC State, Georgia Tech ahead. Duke, Miami tonight. For Roddy Jones, Larissa Harris, our producer Alex Farmatino, our director Dennis Lanius, Wes Durham. Thanks for watching. The Huddle is next.